It feels so good to be here, to listen to this beautiful music of our choir. Thank you so much to all of you, to Marissa and to Marianne, to be with Cantor, Rabbi, Fred, and of course Steve, and to have Kathy and Hope here. And of course, all of you. Beloved friends, Rabbi Tarfon teaches in Pirkei Avot, Lo alecha hamacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. It is not upon you to finish the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. These words have carried our people across centuries, and tonight they carry me in a very personal way. This Rosh HaShanah is my last as your senior rabbi. Saying that out loud fills me with awe and gratitude. So much has been accomplished in our years together, so many joys celebrated, sorrows carried, projects undertaken, and dreams nurtured. And yet, as Rabbi Tarfon reminds us, the work is never complete. There is always more love to share, more justice to pursue, more Torah to learn, more lives to touch. As I move into the role of Rabbi Emeritus and Senior Scholar, I feel blessed that I will continue to walk with you, to teach, to learn, and to engage in the work of our community, only now in a different capacity. My role will change, but the calling remains. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben chorin libatel mimena. The work is not mine to finish, and it is not mine to abandon. Together we will continue to carry it forward. And so these days of awe, the Yamim Noraim, feel especially poignant. They invite us all, and me especially, to reflect not only on what has been accomplished, but on what yet remains unfinished. They remind us that even as chapters close, the work of this community, the work of holiness, is unending. Richard Beck, in his book, The Shape of Joy, and Achar Keltner, in his book, Awe, help us understand how we can keep showing up for that unfinished work without despair, and how awe and joy can sustain us as we carry it together. Beck describes the very geometry of our souls. When we curve inward, absorbed by regret, rumination, or endless self-comparison, joy slips away. When we curve outward toward gratitude, humility, connection, and transcendence, joy begins to take shape. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. The work is never finished. If we keep curving inward, we will despair. But if we curve outward into community and into wonder, we can carry that unfinished work with hope. Keltner's research reveals that awe changes us. Awe, he teaches, is that feeling when we encounter something vast that transcends our understanding. It may be a mountain. It may be a melody. It may be a moment of moral beauty. Awe makes us more generous, more connected, less anxious. Awe softens the ego. Awe reminds us that we are not the center of the universe. Awe is what allows us to hear, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena, not as a crushing demand, but as an invitation to partnership with the divine. Our tradition has always known this. The Torah teaches us, Ma Adonai Elohecha shoel mimcha? What does God ask of you? Only this, to stand in awe, to walk in God's ways, to love, to serve with all of your heart and your soul. The psalmist pleads, Limnot yamenu kein hodav v'navi levav chokhmah. Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. The Talmud continues, Hakol b'dei shamayim chutz miyirat shamayim. Everything is in the hands of heaven, except the awe of heaven. Even our liturgy speaks with this voice. When the Unetona Tokef proclaims, Uveshofar hagadol yitaka v'kol d'mama daka yishama, the great shofar will sound, and the still small voice will be heard. It is echoing, Lo Alecha. The shofar's blast reminds us of the vastness, of urgency, of awe. The still small voice reminds us of intimacy, of tenderness, of care. Together they teach that while we cannot finish the work, we are never free to abandon it. And our tradition tells a story that carries this truth even deeper. The great Hasidic sage, the Baal Shem Tov, would hold auditions each year to choose the Baal Tekiah, the one to sound the shofar. It was not enough to play the right notes. The Baal Tekiah also had to master the 100 kavanot, mystical prayers to fill each sound with spiritual power. One man studied for 2 years and came to audition. But when he stood before the Baal Shem Tov, he froze. He could not recall a single prayer. He could barely sound a single note. His heart was broken. I select you, said the Baal Shem Tov. The man protested, but I failed. And the Baal Shem Tov replied with a parable. The palace of the king has 100 chambers, each with a secret key. But there is one key that opens them all, the axe. And the axe, the Baal Shem Tov said, is the broken heart. This is the deepest key of all. Not our perfection, not our mastery, but our honesty, our humility, our tears. For as the psalmist teaches, Karov Adonai l'nishbarei lev ve'et dakeh ruach yoshia. God is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And is this not exactly what Rabbi Tarfon meant? Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor v'lo ata ben chorin lihibateo mimena. It is not ours to complete the work, nor is it ours to abandon it, even when we stumble, even when our efforts fall short. Our broken hearts themselves can unlock the gates of heaven. And awe, it's not only found in these grand moments of the high holy days. The Talmud instructs us to bless for lightning, for mountains, for oceans. Our sages knew that awe lives in the everyday. Gratitude for breath in the morning, wonder at a child's laughter, quiet marvel at the colors of autumn. Each small awe restores us. Each awe gives us strength for the unfinished work. Every time we notice, we are living lo alecha. This message matters deeply in our time. We live in a world weighed down with conflict, with fear, and with grief. Each headline seems to bend us inward with worry and fatigue. The war in Israel and Gaza has torn at our hearts and challenged our sense of hope. The rise of anti-Semitism here and around the world reminds us that even in our own neighborhoods, we are not free from hate. The climate crisis confronts us with fire and floods and storms that threaten the very world God entrusted to us to care for. The deep wounds of division in our nation fracture families, friendships, and communities. The work before us is heavy, and it is not finished. If we imagine that it is ours alone to complete, then despair will overwhelm us. If we believe that we must heal every wound and every war or reconcile every conflict by ourselves, then the burden will crush us. But lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. It is not upon us to finish the work. We are freed from the impossible weight of perfection. Yet, v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. We are not free to turn away. The call of our tradition is to keep showing up. What is ours is to bring healing where we can. One relationship, one act of kindness, one courageous conversation at a time. What is ours is to bend outward with humility and compassion, not retreat inward with despair. What is ours is to let awe, the awe of standing together in prayer, the awe of marveling at creation, the awe of seeing the face of God in one another, be the wellspring that renews our strength. What is ours is to let joy remind us why we care in the first place, why the work is holy, and why it matters that we keep walking forward hand in hand. And here at Temple Jeremiah, we know this truth. Together we have worked to build a house of welcome and of justice, a congregation that sings with joy, that learns with depth, that stretches outward to embrace our neighbors. I have seen awe in your faces as our choir's voices have soared on a Kol Nidre night. I have felt awe when our children carried the Torah through these aisles, their eyes wide with wonder. I have stood in awe with you on visits to Israel, at the wall in Jerusalem, and in the quiet moments of prayer here at home. I will admit to you, there are days when I feel curved inward, overwhelmed by grief and exhaustion. But then, awe interrupts me. It happens when I hear our voices rising together in song. It happens when I walk quietly with Kathy and Tali and the evening sky opens before us. It happens when I sit at the bedside of someone who whispers gratitude simply for breath. These are my lo alecha moments. They remind me I cannot finish the work, but I can do my part. They remind me I am not free to desist. They remind me that even in brokenness, there is blessing. Soon, tomorrow morning, the shofar will sound. Its cry will pierce our hearts, terrifying and comforting all at once. It will remind us that life is short and holy, that we are fragile and infinite, that God is near. It will bend us outward toward awe, and in its echo we will hear Rabbi Tarfon's wisdom once more. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. So may this new year reshape the geometry of our souls. May we not remain curved inward, trapped in regret, but bent outward in gratitude, humility, and love. May awe soften our hearts, and may joy strengthen our resolve. May we find in awe the courage to stay faithful to the work, even when we cannot see it to completion. And may we, as Rabbi and congregation, continue to share the work in new ways as I step into the role of Rabbi Emeritus and Senior Scholar. The work we have done together is holy, and the work ahead is holy too. Together, we will carry it forward. And now, dear friends, a blessing for you. May Temple Jeremiah always be a place of welcome and of wonder. May this community continue to be a beacon of justice, of compassion, of learning, and of song. May each of you feel the strength of belonging, the beauty of shared responsibility, and the joy of awe. May the blasts of the shofar remind you of both vastness and intimacy. And may even the broken heart within you be the key that opens every gate of heaven. May we keep shaping the future together with courage and with love, never alone, always together. And may the Holy One bless us with life that is not only long, but deep, filled with kindness, hope, and the unending promise of renewal. Ken Yehi Ratzon. So may it be. Amen.